Hi there, good morning. You're welcome to the issue here on GHOne TV. It is our branch time bulletin. I am Mohammed. Coming up within the next 60 minutes, Ghana Armed Forces to resume Accra recruitment screening at LWAC and 4 new locations on November 20. Calls intensify for urgent investment in care of preterm babies dominated the 2025 Purple for Maturity Summit here in Accra. In business, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana appeals to the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Trade and Industry to urgently clamp down on smuggling rings operating within the country. And later in sports, 2025 Super Volleyball Championship currently underway at the Bortiman Sports Complex. We'll be live as Nigeria Customs volleyball team faces the Ghana LWAC Wings in the second game of the day. And later on the international front, Trump calls on House Republicans to vote to release Epstein files. We have details of these and many others all in this 60 minutes belt. Stay tuned in. Once again, I am Mohammed. The Ghana Armed Forces has announced the resumption of its 2025-2026 recruitment exercise in the Greater Accra region. The exercise is set to start on Thursday, November 20, 2025, following last week's suspension. According to a statement by the Ghana Armed Forces, screening will take place at 8 sub-centers across 5 locations, including the LWAC Stadium, Nicholson Park, the Air Force Base, Tradoc in Teshi, and the Eastern Naval Command in Tema. The statement also said applicants will receive SMS notifications with their reporting dates, batch numbers, and designated centers. The Armed Forces is urging recruits to strictly follow instructions and warned that non-applicants will not be allowed at the screening centers. Meanwhile, the Board of Inquiry investigating the recent recruitment stampede is still ongoing. Meanwhile, government has announced that relatives of the 6 people who died during the military recruitment stampede at the LWAC Sports Stadium will be allowed to provide replacements in the ongoing enlistment process. According to officials, the applicants who sustained injuries during the incident will also receive automatic qualification as part of measures to support affected families and acknowledge the circumstances surrounding the tragedy. Authorities say the gesture is intended to offer relief to the victims' families while ensuring fairness in the recruitment exercise. Ernest Bujajimfi is a Deputy Defense Minister.
We think that these 6 young female potential recruits had made it. They were qualified to the stage where we were to inspect their documentations and also do body selection in order to assess their fitness level. And for the family to lose them under the circumstances as we have, His Excellency the President has directed that we give the opportunity to the family to replace all these 6 dead persons. Of course, we have to check their fitness level, how they are healthy, how they qualify to be with the Ghana Armed Forces. Not only that, His Excellency the President has also directed that all injured persons involved in this tragic incident be also given the automatic qualification to be recruited for the Ghana Armed Forces. At any point they recover and our health professionals assess their suitability to be with the Ghana Armed Forces, His Excellency the President has given the directive that we give them automatic recruitment to join. So this is what government is doing to condole the families and also to compensate for those that have been hit by it.
Let's engage a security analyst on the back of this. Samuel Appiah joins me via Zoom. Mr. Appiah, thank you very much. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Right. Government says families of deceased persons who lost their lives in the unfortunate stampede should provide names of persons to replace them in this ongoing recruitment process. Fair enough?
Well, I think, in my opinion, it's only fair and serves, good for the government to be concerned and give some consideration to serve as a way of compensation. So I think it is in order that the government has recognized the fact that they have to give the family some compensation in that regard. So for me, I think it's okay.
But Mr. Appiah, you would acknowledge, as a security analyst, you would acknowledge that this is a very sensitive installation. Do we just have to allow anybody coming because someone died on the back of the recruitment?
Well, I think they are going to have a lot of rigorous processes and procedure. As the statement outlined now, we believe that institutions like the Army, they have all the necessary, strict enforcement and rules being abided by potential recruits and applicants. So they will do very thorough, rigorous checks on each and every candidate. And at the end of the day, if you are not qualified, either by academic or health, I am very sure they will not allow anybody at all to get into it just because there's either some special dispensation or compensation. No, they will have to follow through with the required standard of procedure to get the right person who fits by education and health and all that is required.
Okay. On the back of that, in the same statement, government says those who were injured in the stampede get automatic qualification. Is this good enough? How do we know if they were going to be selected anyway or they qualified anyway?
Well, the fact that the person was, injured and got into some discomfort situation does not, and I believe, will not necessarily automatically grant he or she entry. I'm very sure that they will have to do further checks. Maybe the person is, having his or her leg incapacitated through that, or has some impairment or some deficiency that as a result of these stampedes will affect him or her forever. How is the person going to be comfortable? Looking at how military system works. So probably they will have to relook at that particular aspect of the recommendation.
Okay.
And if indeed the person is fit enough, well, I don't think there will be any problem. He or she must be accepted. But if there's anything that will hamper his or her health situation, I believe they will have to review that as well.
And then the recruitment starts again on November 20. That's according to government. Do you think there's enough time Time has been allowed enough for this recruitment exercise to continue. Should government have waited for the investigative report to come out with its recommendations and findings?
Well, I want to believe that they know what went wrong. Whatever happened last week, they know what went wrong. And I'm glad that what should have been done earlier on have been done now, to the effect that they have, segregated the centers. And they're going to have, several areas, specifically giving codes and identification, numbers for applicants to report to specific centers. I believe that should have been done earlier. Well, better late than never. So it's not about the investigation should have been or must be completed. I believe they have recognized the fact that some things were not done right, and now they have to correct the wrong. So let's allow them. I believe from now to 20th, all the things that's supposed to be done basically will be allocating the numbers and the code that requires each applicant to report to specific screening center. So I believe that there's enough time for them to do that.
Okay, Mr. Appiah, thank you very much. That's Samuel Appiah. He is a security analyst. Well, let's find out what your thoughts are on this on our various social media pages. Nana Akwa joins me. Nana, what are people saying?
Well, Lily, this is still so much of a tragedy and it's still fresh. Is it too soon? Let's see what you have to say. When we go to X, we have Namin who says, my mum says I shouldn't go. Then we also have Chief. I hope there won't be any bad news again. Me too. We also have on Instagram Teku who says, best of luck to all applicants. We have here Kani. This post reminds me of a day back in 2007 when I attended a crusade. Someone touched my shoulder and said, you will walk. I didn't take it seriously but because I wasn't lame. But after the crusade, I checked my pocket and discovered my wallet with my transport fare was gone. Behold, I walked indeed. We also have, when we move over to Facebook, Kelvin, who says, we pray for peaceful exercise. Paulina says, Chale, it tear my eye self. She doesn't want to do it again. We also have Princess here. This time around, they should not let even an ant die. And we also have Joyce. So can't they group them and use 2 weeks for that? Boy, indeed. It should be something whereby time is taken so that, the right measures are put in place. My name is Nanama Akwalili. Back over to you.
Thank you very much. Let's move on and touch on the health sector. Calls for urgent investment in the care of preterm babies dominated the 2025 Purple for Prematurity Summit here in Accra. The event, organized by the African Foundation for Premature Babies and Neonatal Care in partnership with the Accra College of Medicine, brought together policymakers, health experts, faith leaders and families to confront Ghana's rise in preterm mortality. As the world marks World Prematurity Day, speakers insisted that improving neonatal care and strengthening community support systems must now be treated as a national emergency.
Remains one of the leading causes of newborn deaths in Ghana, and with over 100,000 babies born too soon every year, experts say urgent and sustained investment is needed to save more lives. The Purple for Prematurity Summit brought together government agencies, health professionals, civil society and faith leaders, all united behind one message. Representing the clergy, Most Reverend Dr. Paul Kwabena-Boafo of the Methodist Church called for a dedicated government initiative to support preterm babies.
I call on all and sundry churches, NGOs, civil society, and above all, the government to also help in this by even extending it to the point that NHIA will support pre-born.
Special guest of honor, Reverend Dr. Joyce Ayi, emphasized that increased investment in preterm care must be treated as a national priority, one that deserves immediate attention from policymakers.
And I'm expecting that at the governmental level, more serious attention will be given to putting premature children on the NHIS.
Adding to the discussions, former Deputy Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Anafi Asamwaba, urged the country to correct harmful misconceptions about preterm birth.
We need to work on our mindset. The general impression is premature babies, you are bound to die. It is generally accepted that premature baby, you should die. And it's only by miracle that you survive. And that is why everybody, the whole society must be part of the solution.
From the clinical frontlines, a neonatal nurse specialist from the Greater Accra Regional Hospital called for increased sponsorship and training for nurses and midwives who care for preterm babies.
As we talk about organizations coming to sponsor in increasing infrastructure and all that, we also need to consider in sponsoring nurses and midwives to acquire the specialized skills they need in caring for these babies.
One of the most emotional moments came from a mother of a preterm baby who shared her personal journey and called for collective compassion and support for families navigating the challenges of premature birth.
What is left is financial aspect. They can't pay off all our bills. So everyone has to come together so that we can raise enough money to save the kids.
Selina Bentum, founder of AFPNC, appealed for a coordinated national effort to reduce preterm deaths, saying collaboration is key to giving every premature baby a chance to thrive.
Our portion is to that we hold hands together. We are equal partners. The healthcare professional is critical role. Parents' voices are critical. Government's role is critical. So when it comes to community, as in the industries.
The summit featured 3 major panel discussions, all centered on the same urgent call: increased investment, strengthened community support, and to ensure early-born babies receive the care they need to survive and grow. As Ghana marks World Prematurity Day, stakeholders say the time to act is now.
Now, a powerful show of compassion from students of the Canadian Independent College has brought a glimmer of hope to a breast cancer patient whose heartbreaking story touched the nation during the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Led by their teacher, the students visited the EIB network offices at Platinum Place here in Accra to present a donation to support her rising medical bills. Khadija Idi reports.
Every October, the world turns pink to raise awareness about breast cancer. This year, behind the campaigns and ribbons, one story stood out. 61-year-old Edith Ajari, a woman fighting aggressive cancer alone. Edith was diagnosed 4 years ago with stage 2 breast cancer. And for 2 years, she did everything she could. Hospital visits, chemotherapy, wound care. Then the money ran out. Treatment stopped. And her life began spiraling into silent suffering. Today, she survives by paying a private individual to dress her wound just to stay clean. Her husband, unable to cope with the emotional and financial weight of the illness, died along the way. Relatives who once helped can no longer do so. Edith has been left to battle pain, poverty, and despair, armed with nothing but hope and the kindness of strangers. One of those strangers is Director Kekeli, who first mobilized basic supplies for her. But seeing Edith face to face changed everything. The need was far greater, the pain far deeper. He and his team began sharing her story, and it reached the hearts of students at the Canadian Independent College. Deeply moved, the students rallied their entire school community. They contributed, fundraised, and traveled to EIB Network to deliver their donation, determined to ease her burden, even if it's just a little.
I didn't really know how serious the breast cancer whole situation was. It's something we hear about, but we've never seen before until a friend of a friend told me of someone who doesn't even have money to go for the hospital, doesn't have money for food, is really struggling at home. And then we went to visit this woman, and it was eye-opening for us. It was very disheartening. And we gathered everything that we could, asked public to assist with whatever they could, and then we went to donate some amount of money and then foodstuffs to her. But then that couldn't be enough because both breasts are actually rotting at this stage that maggots even come out from the breast.
Some of the students also spoke about what moved them to take action.
We came across a video of a breast cancer patient on GHOne platform, and the SRC of the school, they deemed it fit that at least the student will have some form of contribution in order to support the treatment process of the breast cancer patient.
I saw the video and I felt touched. When I saw it, I was really feeling sad, and I saw how people with breast cancer and how it affects people's daily lives. And also as a woman, I also want to support a fellow woman.
For Edith, the moment was overwhelming. Through tears, she thanked them, but admitted her battle is far from over. The pain is constant. The bills keep rising. And she fears that without more support, she may not survive this fight.
Private hospital because this is no every day be a pain, or bed dress and so at the near me ya into the minya be a hospital be a mobile no me in a phone my free. You see me to me you couldn't over Johnny. If you want to come home to me, and I'm home top here.
Breast cancer continues to devastate families across the country, and for Edith, the road to recovery is long. And she continues to rely on the generosity of the public to stay alive. For GHOne News and Star FM, Khadija Idi, Accra.
We're still soliciting for help for her. So if you have any help you want to provide her, your widow's mite, please walk into our offices and then it will be channeled to her. Now, the Africa Coalition for Academic Freedom at the University of Ghana, Legon, has held a continental dialogue to rally support for safeguarding academic freedom across African universities. The event brought together researchers, lecturers and policy actors to push for stronger protections and collective action. There's more in this report.
Conference, which served as a platform for academic bodies and experts to unite in addressing threats to academic freedom, was on the theme, Safeguarding Academic Freedom in Africa, a continental dialogue for collective action. Speaking at the conference, Saka Sayuti, coordinator of the National Association of Local Authorities, acknowledged Ghana's efforts in strengthening ties with university staff through UTAG. However, he emphasized that government must fulfill its responsibility as a duty bearer, while academic staff must also be respected as rights holders.
The government of Ghana has shown keen interest in promoting positive relations with academics through the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG. It is important to highlight that this does not mean that the relationship between the teacher unions and the government has always been cordial. Tensions and disagreements have sometimes characterized discussions, but at the end of the day, we create a platform to agree to disagree.
A representative of the University of Ghana's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Godfred Bokbim, also noted that academic freedom is not a privilege, but a right essential to research, innovation, and the advancement of knowledge.
The struggle for academic freedom is continuous. Each generation must renew its commitment to protect the autonomy of universities and the right to think, teach, and debate freely. As the University of Ghana continues to lead in higher education, we reaffirm that the academic freedom is not a privilege, but the lifeblood of the university.
On his part, Special Aid to the Vice President, Alexander Segbefia, emphasized the need to foster constructive dialogue to ensure all key stakeholders align in understanding the mission and avoid misinterpreting it as a conflict of perceptions.
I also propose that ASAs engage in constructive dialogue as reflected in the conference theme, so that all relevant actors in the academic freedom equation, including the government, university management and students, will avoid seeing a conflict of perception of the mission and raise the terror of the university and see the university as a critical watchdog for the promotion of higher education.
Professor Kojo Appiah-Jaya-Tua, a law lecturer who doubles as the regional director of ACAF, also highlighted the importance of platforms that the Africa Coalition for Academic Freedom provides in promoting democracy, human rights, and development across the African continent.
We are using this platform to promote and to fight for democracy, human rights, and development on the continent. I want to assure you that the deliberations we're going to have here will be something that will bring hope to the continent.
Let's now touch on tackling plastic waste, as Ghana's growing plastic waste problem is choking our drains, polluting our seas and making flooding worse every rainy season. One man is contributing to solving the problem. Environmental activist Makafui Awuku is turning discarded sachet water plastics into durable school chairs and tables, giving hope to students, especially in rural communities who often have no furniture to sit on.
The rhythmic hum of machines fills a modest workshop here in Accra. Piles of used sachet water plastics, once an eyesore littering streets and drains, now sit neatly sorted, waiting to be recycled. What many consider waste, Makafui sees as raw material for change. From this small space, he and his team are turning discarded plastics into classroom chairs and tables. It's a simple idea with powerful impact, tackling Ghana's mounting plastic pollution while bringing dignity and comfort to classrooms that have long gone without furniture.
We already have about 400 desks in schools, more than 10 schools. We've set up a computer lab for a school in Afienya also, and we've built a bus shelter or a cooling shed. One of it has been installed at Accra Academy already. So there's already so much impact, and I've already trained 15,000 young people in 3 African countries over the period.
Makafui's work is already making a real difference, and he says this is just the beginning.
The goal is to, 1, fix the 2 million desk deficit issues in the country, try fixing similar problems in other African countries that have similar challenges and similar situation. Then also, we have a roofing tile product also from the pure water sachet, being able to make larger, longer panels of that to be able to revolutionize the construction industry.
The acting director of human settlements at the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, Hope Smith Lomote, acknowledges the plastic problem. He says there are strategies and funding streams to support innovators like Makafui who want to scale up.
If you look at the plastic management policy 2020, there are a lot of strategies inside. One of them is what Makafui is doing, and already government of Ghana through GEF, that's Global Environment Fund, has given grant to about 12 companies who are mopping up plastic waste from the system.
The founding director of the Institute of Environment and Sanitation Studies at the University of Ghana, Professor Christopher Gordons, explains that plastic can take up to 1,000 years to decompose. He warns that the fish consumed from our waters often contain traces of microplastics, which can disrupt human hormones and eventually find their way into our bloodstream.
We've done studies looking at fish along the coast, keta, schoolboys, anchovies, sardines, and can find up to 110 individual microplastics. The other side on our health directly is that all plastics contain additives. As they leach out of the plastic itself, i.e. they dissolve in the surroundings, which can be soil, it can be water, they release what are known as endocrine byproducts, which mimic the hormones we have in our body. So this can cause issues with fertility, can lead to long-term chronic disease.
He says this is why Makafui's intervention is so critical. It does not only give discarded plastic a second life, but also helps prevent these harmful materials from entering the environment in the first place.
We have to replicate this in every district. It's a very good initiative. He's doing well, but it has to be, as you said, at scale.
By transforming discarded plastics into classroom chairs and tables, Makafui is not only improving the lives of students across the country, but also tackling a crisis that affects our environment, our health, and the future of Ghana's communities. Reporting for GHOne News, Zuleiha Nuhu.
Now let's take you to the Etiwa district in the eastern region, where the deplorable condition of the Bebomi DA Basic School has over the years discouraged enrollment and teacher retention. The deteriorated state of the pavilion classroom block and torn roofing sheets expose learners and teachers to risk of building collapse. Hence, teachers spend few hours in the classrooms to teach. Newly posted teachers also reject posting to the school, while few who accept posting often seek transfer after few short stays. The government is intervening to address the challenge. Our Eastern Regional correspondent GHOne has more.
The deteriorating condition of Bebomi Community 1 and 2 Basic School in Etiwa East districts of the Eastern region is forcing parents to withdraw their children from school, while newly posted teachers continue to reject postings to the area.
Obiam nyono ku school abekwase na ha na abekwase muchi pa send school ni tin omunchirare teachers ni su mounted because teachers ni su fra abekwase nti wa bedua na yakobọ 9 to 10 azana ba mu ban so anche by 12 no mapum ma me do mu ko because of school ni nyanti aman kwala ni ya ombe ku school ha
ene kwala na se mo so mu fifi encrass na eba tiwie kura yesi bi ya free ye krom ti sa abekwase na eba Bebomi ha no. The
school, which serves several surrounding farming communities, currently operates in makeshift pavilion structures with tattered roofing, posing safety risk to learners and staff. However, there is renewed hope as the Etiwa East District Assembly has cut sword for construction of a modern 6-unit classroom block for the Bebomi 1 and 2 community.
The people are really happy. It's something that they have been looking for a long time. We could see the state of the school. So first of all, we are going to thank the president, for such great vision. And during the campaign time, I came here and I saw the state of the school. So actually, I told myself that when I get such opportunity, I will actually see how we'll be able to solve it. And it is the first, 6-unit school that I've selected for us to achieve that agenda. We have been tasked by the president to build, 2 schools in a year. And this is one of them that we are going to construct. We have given the contractor, 6 months.
The project is expected to improve teaching and learning and encourage parents to enroll their children.
This project is going to improve on enrollment. It's going to improve on teacher attendance and learner attendance. It's going to improve on teaching, learning, and teaching and learning. It's also going to be more or less a motivation for the teachers to be regular, to be punctual, and give their best to ensure that there is progress as far as academic excellence is concerned.
Meanwhile, as Ghana pushes towards achieving universal health coverage by 2030, residents of Nanapa community to continue to struggle with access to health care due to absence of a health facility.
Chip compound in here, no challenges womb because emergency cry is here. It will be difficult for you to get to a nearby hospital for medication.
At a sword cutting ceremony, the district chief executive for Etiwa East, Ernest Owusu Intim, assured that the chip compound projects are fully funded through the district assembly common fund.
Today we are here purposely to witness one of the promises made by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We have been tasked to build 2 chip compounds every year, and this is one of them. When we are coming out there, you could see the distance from Nanapa to Enyinesi, where we have the district biggest hospital. So purposely is a way of trying to bring health closer to the people. And Nanapa has been crying for such facility for a long time.
Construction works are expected to begin immediately. GHOne, reporting from Etiwa East.
The news returns after this breather. Stay with me. Authority and the Ministry of Trade and Industry to urgently clamp down on smuggling rings operating within the country. According to FAPAG, legitimate importers and distributors of locally produced rice are being pushed to the brink as the market is flooded with massive volumes of smuggled rice and sugar, often entering through unapproved routes. The association warns that this illicit activity is not only crippling fair competition, but also costing the state millions in lost import duty revenue. Let's engage the Executive Chairman of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, Reverend GHOne Vazum. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers. Hope you are doing well.
Well, we're doing well. We cannot complain. Thank you for asking, by the way. On the delivery of the budget statement for 2026, were you particularly enthused?
Well, let me say that I should say I was enthused because looking at the entire budget, I thought that apparently the budget would be anchored on, before the delivery, I was expecting it to be anchored on two things: stabilizing the gains and then making sure that they can spare growth in the coming year. And that's exactly what I saw the Minister of Finance try to confirm, that they are determined to stabilize the inflation rate and stabilize all the gains they have made, the exchange rates, and then all that. And then they also talked about a lot of capital expenditure, which will inject money into the system and then spare growth. And then also the fact that we saw some taxes, the COVID-19 levy finally gone, and then also the VAT, the entire VAT tax system also reduced from 21.9 to 20, and then made simple in terms of calculations and then all that. So we saw that. We also saw the issue of the threshold of the VAT being increased from 200 to 700, even though we still have some reservations in that area. So, but generally, the budget appeared to me to be positive in terms of outlook. Sector that we are very much concerned about. Indeed, the budget, the minister also promised to fight smuggling, which we are currently talking about.
How do you think government can approach the issue of smuggling, especially owing to our very porous borders? How do we address this?
That's a very excellent question. I should say that addressing the issue of smuggling is a very simple, straightforward thing that if the government have the political will to do it, they can do it. It is not necessarily it's not as if these products are brought in through unapproved routes. The Aflawo Road, Aflawo to Accra, is the same beautiful route. There are borders there. There are custom officers at the borders. Articulated trucks cannot pass through unapproved routes. These articulated trucks that come in loaded, fully loaded. These are people who bring in shiploads and land them in Lomi and cut all these goods into the country through Kia Bongo vehicles, through articulated trucks and all kind of stuff. So it is very visible. Then also we have authority, the customs services have post-market surveillance units. We have are smuggled, because most of the goods, we have labeling standards, and most of the goods, you see them labeled in French. A product that is labeled in French in a English-speaking country, how do you expect the customers to be able to read? It contravenes our labeling standards. So that clearly shows that if these goods were to come through approved routes or were to come in legally, they definitely will be stopped. So it is very simple to do that. And then also, you have just the Custom Director, Commissioner General of Customs, and even the Minister of Finance. If they put a whole mind on this thing and then warn the people at the borders, they will stop taking bribes at those borders. They will stop compromising and allowing these goods to come into the country without the necessary taxes, without necessary duties, without the necessary safety standards being adhered to.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. That's Reverend GHOne Awili. He's the Executive Chairman of Food and Beverages Association of Ghana. Now, the Finance Minister, Dr. Kesiela Tuforsin, presenting the 2026 budget statement to Parliament on November 13, announced a comprehensive overhaul of Ghana's VAT regime aimed at making the tax system more equitable, transparent, and business-friendly. According to him, the reforms are the result of months of detailed analysis and broad stakeholder consultations. Dr. Forsey noted that scrapping the COVID-19 levy alone will return 3.7 billion cedis to households and businesses in 2026. Let's now engage Partner Tax and Regulatory Services, GHOne Ayew, who joins us via Zoom. GHOne, thank you very much for joining us. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to yourself and your listeners.
Right. Government has announced some new measures in taxes. What are your thoughts? Are they progressive enough?
Yes, these are very welcome implement or reforms proposals to all businesses, taxpayers in Ghana. As everyone would have been aware by now, tax regime in totality, if you look at the effective tax rate, it's one of the highest in the sub-Saharan Africa. And that says something to our tax regime and how it was working like. And it made a lot of goods and taxable services very uncompetitive when you compare to what is happening in the other countries. So every business, of course, the rate that we are looking for is for it to go much lower. It's now 20% if this reform is implemented, but it's very much welcomed, and business would hope that they'll be able to take benefit of it and pass on the cost reduction to consumers. Although he mentioned scrapping of the COVID-19 levy, and which I think is the highlights of it. There are other reforms proposed as well, which could even have much further effects. And one of it is the input deduction, because they are abolishing what is called the decoupling of the NHI and GHOne levy. Because previously, the way VAT works is that you should be able to deduct your output from your inputs. And what was done previously through this decoupling was that you couldn't have done this. You could only deduct it when you are doing your corporate income tax. But once this is abolished, it means on a month-by-month basis, you'll be able to deduct as a business your cost of sales, whatever goes into your you incur in respect to your GHOne and NHI levy. You'll be able to deduct it from your total output. So I know consumers will not be seeing this immediately. They will be looking at the 1% abolishment, which is good. But then for a lot of businesses, this change of law to allow them to deduct the inputs against the outputs would even be much better for them. And overall, it should lead to reduction even in the cost of inflation rate that we are seeing, and more so to the prices that consumers will see when they go to the market.
All right. Government has announced some revenue targets. Do you think these are achievable?
Yeah. So I think those are. You achieve your revenue target based on a number of functions or some of the things you are going to do, which is going to allow you to achieve this or not. So one of this is enforcement, and you could have all the best laws on the books. If you are not enforcing it well, or there are loopholes within the administration of it, then you're not going to meet it. So when they mentioned it, I could see they talked about the fiscal electronic devices, for example, and some other measures which is going to ensure that they are able to meet this target. And then when you look at the various research statistics around, there is a certain middle chunk of businesses who do not fully comply with these tax rules. And you could see that the fiscal electronic devices is targeted towards that certain mid-segment of taxpayers. The very top large taxpayers, they do a lot of the right things. They are being audited almost on an annual basis. But is this certain class of businesses who are not being audited often, or who usually are able to go under the radar, that if this measures or administrative measures are fully enforced, that would then lead government to achieve this target. Also, I think the main point is that tax is a function of how well businesses are doing. So if you create a general good business environment, businesses thrive, they grow bigger and bigger, then your function or your percentage of taxes that you are going to get would also grow. So it's one way or the other. Good environment, stability, low inflation rate, single-digit inflation rate. When all of this environment, good environment is provided, then you could clearly say that yes, governments would be able to achieve its revenue targets.
All right, Gideon, thank you very much for engaging us. That's Gideon Ayu, his partner Tax Regulatory Services and Deloitte. Now, the second edition of the Camel Treasure Hunt promotion has been launched with a grand prize of 100,000 cedis as the ultimate. According to management of PZ Cousins, producers of camel products, the promotion is aimed at rewarding customers for their loyalty, especially during challenging economic times.
The second edition of the promotion is expected to offer cash rewards in a range of exciting products to participating customers. The launch held in Accra attracted numerous customers and distributors. Speaking to the media, Adiza Safianu, finance manager for PZ Cuisines Ghana, emphasized that the promotion forms part of their commitment to give back to customers.
In 2024, we launched the first edition of Camel Treasure Hunt promo, born out of a desire to add value to the lives of our cherished customers during challenging times. We recognize the economic pressures facing individuals and families, and we stepped forward with a campaign that offered not just reward, but relief and support. We launched Camel Treasure Hunt 2 promo in solidarity with all customers and our trading partners, rewarding loyalty alongside a little extra excitement.
Category manager at PZ Cuisines, Clara Ofori Edu, also outlined the modalities of the promotion.
From the 14th November 2025 to 15th February 2026, that's a 13-week running, every purchase of Camel antiseptic liquid becomes a ticket to exciting rewards. The mechanics remains simple. Buy any Camel antiseptic product, scratch the panel, reveal the unique code, and text it to the number 1393. Collect all 5 letters of the set CAMEL, and with a grand prize, you win that 100,000 Ghana cedis.
The Camel Treasure Hunt promotion runs until February 15, 2026.
That's it for the business brief. I'm back shortly. Here on GHOne TV, and I am Lily Mohammed. Let's head to the foreign front. Jeffrey Epstein. Trump wrote on Sunday night that Republicans in the House of Representatives should do so because they have nothing to hide. The reversal of his recent position follows a slow drip feed of documents concerning the disgraced financier Epstein have fueled speculation and led to a public spat with one of Trump's staunchest supporters. That should do for the bulletin. I am Lily Mohammed. Have a good day.